welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us for this final session. And that's what it's all about this evening. We've been talking about veterans. The first two sessions, we had the VFW, Veteran of Foreign Wars, and we learned a lot about what they're doing in our community. These second two sessions, we have the DAV, Disabled American Veterans, and we have with us the commander, Carl Jones.
Thank you.
And we have the Public Relations Chairman, Terry Janke. And those are my two guests that you just saw in the last session. And we've got a lot more to talk to you about. I want to reiterate the fact on the income taxes. If you want your taxes done free of charge, you can call 775-537-2323. It's the Nye Communities Coalition. And Sandy Jennings is in charge of that program. And they have appointments on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 9 until 3. And if you earn under $54,000 a year, you can have your taxes done free of charge. So, and you'll see more about that in the newspaper, probably hear more on the radio about those programs. But right now, we're going to be talking about the Disabled American Veterans. And even before we do that, I want to remind people that, remind veterans and their families that we have the VA hospital in North Las Vegas, and right on, as we always say, on Pecos. And over on Pecos as well, they have the Fisher House, brand new Fisher House. And it's going to be opening have their grand opening on February 11th at 11 a.m. And one of the people that you'll see there is Linda Wright from the VFW. That was one of the things that she failed to mention. She said she wanted me to remind you, and that's what I'm doing. Fisher House opens at 11 a.m. on February 11th. And now, back to the Disabled American Veterans and the DAV. Let's pick up where we left off. We also talked about the Moose Lodge raising funds for the DAV, and they're having a donation dinner. When?
February the 28th from 3 to 6 p.m.
That's a Sunday.
Yes, and it will be at the Moose Lodge located at 1100 East 2nd Street in Pahrump. And
we'd like as many people to come out because everything raised during that dinner will go to the DAV.
Correct.
And you use your funds where?
Right here in Pahrump.
Right here in Pahrump in Nye County. That's what it's all about. So come out and support them, and this is a fundraiser. And the Moose Lodge is doing that for you. Is there any other organization donating money to the DAV?
Yes, and I didn't want to leave them out. It's the Lions Club. Last month, the Lions Club presented us with a check. I forget the amount. Terry, do you remember how the treasurer has it? And we wanted to thank them as well. I didn't want to leave them out. And also, we want to thank all the local companies and all the people in Pahrump, because twice a year, we have what we call the Forget-Me-Not fundraiser. And we're normally located in front of Albertsons, in front of Smith's, in front of Walgreens, in front of CVS, and also
Walmart.
And Walmarts. And what we do there is we hand out Forget-Me-Not flowers, and we hand out a flyer that discusses what the Forget-Me-Not program is. And it's all donations. We don't solicit donations when we're out there. If people donate or not, they still receive a flower. And we also give a pamphlet out that that explains what it was all about. And it refers back to World War I. And these flowers are red and they grew wild. And it was so that we didn't forget the vets. And it explains even more about it, but that's the reason for it. And we have that fundraiser twice a year, and we advertise it, and those are the stores that allow us, and we'd like to thank them also.
And what color are these Forget-Me-Not flowers?
Red. Blue. No.
They're blue.
They're blue.
They're blue.
Correct, they're blue.
Okay.
I was thinking of the poppies.
That's the VFW,
that's the VFW
poppies and they're red.
And ours are blue.
But the DAV has the blue Forget-Me-Not flowers?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
The DAV, as you know, was first organized after World War I because of all the veterans who came back injured and sick from the fighting in World War I. And there was no organization, there was no facilities to care for these people. And in fact, the DAV's original name was the Disabled American Veterans of the World War.
Okay.
And in 1920, they formally organized the Disabled American Veterans. So it all came about as a result of World War I.
So in actuality, the DAV has been in existence for a long time.
95 years.
Yes.
95 years.
And we try to work together with all the different organizations, with the VFW, the Marine Corps League, and the American Legion. And with working together, we all, we all are not in competition. We're all here trying to support the vets and get them much help that they need.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to have the VFW and DAV both on, so people could see the comparisons and the differences of the two organizations and see that everything is working toward one goal, and that's to help the veterans.
And in addition to that, Terry and I are also members of the committee over at the Chief Dacopa Cemetery, the Veterans section of the Chief Dacopa Cemetery, where I'm the chairman over there and Terry's a member. And what we try to do over there is have a columbarium and have where people can have ceremonies and bench, and we work that as well in our spare time.
In your spare time. That's always good, because I know you're volunteering all over the community. But what else does the VFW do? You talked about your service officers.
VFW, DAV, you mean? You said VFW.
I'm sorry. I talked about the DAV this time, Disabled American Veterans. So please correct me if I make a mistake on that. So we're talking about the DAV, and you talked about your service officers over at Desert View Hospital, and you have 3 of them over there. But there's so many other things going on in the community that the DAV is involved in.
Well, what we do currently right now with Ken Washington, he tries to provide water to the vets out here in the desert, especially in the summertime, but we also provide water and food and clothing also during the summertime. We provide gas, and we try to pay for a bus ride to help veterans to get to Las Vegas, where they can go to get more assistance. We don't have the infrastructure to house individuals where they have the infrastructure in Las Vegas. So what we try and do is to help and assist those individuals with food, with some clothing and whatnot, and structure them to provide a bed. We coordinate with the office in Las Vegas, and then this way they have facilities there where people can live and possibly get jobs and transportation and get medical assistance. So we try to help in that way.
How many members do you have in the local DAV chapter?
Just under 450 currently.
Just under 450.
Right.
Okay. And your meetings again are when?
Our meetings are every third Tuesday, and it's at 5:30 at the Nye Community Coalition building, located at 1020 East Wilson behind Walmart's.
Okay. And everybody's invited.
Correct.
And I know there, I hear so much about the DAV and the things that you're doing in the community, and I think that I can understand why other organizations want to do something to help you. But what else does the DAV do?
One of the things that the residents of Pahrump and Nye County may have seen is our DAV vans,
Okay.
Disabled American vans. These are vans that are run by Disabled American veterans, and they're used to carry veterans from Pahrump and the surrounding areas to medical treatment, to VA hospital in Las Vegas or the clinic here in Pahrump.
Okay. What do you use for van drivers?
We have volunteers. In fact, I think last year our volunteer drivers drove over 20,000 miles and transported more than 900 veterans to medical facilities.
Well, I have to ask this question. I don't want to put you on the spot, but with some of the other veteran organizations, nationwide organizations, we find that the people at the top are receiving large salaries. With the DAV, what kind of salaries are you paying, say, your local commander, or at the state level, the commander there?
It's all voluntary. It's all voluntary.
All
Our
voluntary.
time
No
is
one,
voluntary.
no one paid anything.
No one gets paid. No.
On a national level, I think there's like 4% of the funds on a national level that go towards administrative costs. Well over 90% of the funding received by the DAV goes to help veterans.
Well, again, this is fantastic. Want to tell me anything else about the DAV?
On a national level, the DAV is on the forefront of veterans issues, constantly in D.C., fighting for veterans, not just disabled veterans, but all veterans. The disabled veterans actually were the very first organization to treat servicemen and women with PTSD. In fact, the first program that DAV set forth to treat PTSD victims has been adopted by the Veterans Administration and is still used to this day.
That's great. I want to throw in one other thing, too. It was a DAV member that came up with the new license plate for the state of Nevada for Bronze Star and Silver Star. So kudos again to the DAV. You're doing so much in our community, and we definitely really appreciate all that you're doing. So as we wind down, I just want to say I'm very glad to have the commander and the public relations chairman, Carl Jones and Terry Janke, here on the program today. We've learned so much about the DAV. Earlier we learned a lot about the VFW. I hope you took a lot of notes so you can tell anybody about these two organizations, and again about the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. There is so much more that they're doing that they haven't even had a chance to talk about. So we're going to encourage you to continue to look at what the DAV is doing and support them in any way you can. Thank you.